All right, let's talk about it. You're here because you know something's off. You're tired of feeling like a slave to your own habits. You've tried to quit before, maybe a dozen times, but here you are again, scrolling through the same garbage, feeling the same guilt, the same shame. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. But guess what? You're not alone, and more importantly, you're not stuck. Not anymore. Because today, we're going to talk about how to destroy porn addiction forever. And no, this isn't some preachy, judgmental lecture. This is your best friend talking, so buckle up because we're about to get real. First things first, let's stop pretending this isn't a big deal. If you're watching this, it's because porn has taken up way too much space in your life. Maybe it's affecting your relationships, your self-esteem, or even your ability to focus on the things that actually matter. And honestly, that's not okay. But here's the thing. You're not broken. You're not some hopeless case. You're just stuck in a cycle. And today, we're breaking that cycle together. Now, before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let me ask you something. Why do you think you keep going back to porn? Is it boredom, stress, loneliness? Or maybe it's just become this automatic, mindless habit that you don't even think about anymore. Whatever it is, we're going to tackle it head on. But here's the kicker. Some of the advice I'm about to give you might sound a little unexpected. Like, for example, have you ever considered just getting a boyfriend or girlfriend? I know it sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. Here's the thing. Porn addiction thrives in isolation. It's this secret little world you retreat to when you're feeling disconnected or unfulfilled. But what if you replace that with something real, something meaningful? I'm not saying you need to rush into a relationship tomorrow, but think about it. When was the last time you put real effort into connecting with someone? Like, actually connecting, not just swiping through dating apps or sending half-hearted texts. Real connection. That's the antidote to a lot of what's driving your addiction. Okay, let's get practical. Step 1. Identify your triggers. What are the situations, emotions, or even times of day that make you most likely to turn to porn? Is it late at night when you're alone in your room? Is it after a stressful day at work? Write it down. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Because here's the truth. You can't fight an enemy you don't understand. Once you know your triggers, you can start to dismantle them. Step 2. Replace the habit. You can't just quit porn and expect to magically feel better. You need to fill that void with something positive. For me, it was exercise. Every time I felt the urge to watch porn, I'd drop and do 20 push-ups. Sounds simple, right? But it works. It gives you a hit of dopamine, it distracts you, and over time, it rewires your brain to associate that urge with something healthy instead of something destructive. Find your thing. Whether it's running, painting, cooking, or even just going for a walk. Make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. Step 3. Educate yourself. I'm not talking about reading some dry self-help book, although hey, if that's your thing, go for it. I'm talking about understanding the science behind addiction. Did you know that porn literally rewires your brain? It hijacks your reward system, making it harder and harder to feel pleasure from everyday activities. The good news? Your brain is incredibly adaptable. With time and effort, you can undo that damage, but you have to be willing to put in the work. Step 4. Get a life. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Porn addiction thrives when your life feels empty or unfulfilled. So ask yourself, what are you passionate about? What excites you? What makes you feel alive? If you don't have an answer, it's time to start exploring. Take up a new hobby, join a club, volunteer, do something that gets you out of your head and into the world. Because the more you invest in your own life, the less appealing porn becomes. Step 5. Be patient with yourself. Breaking an addiction isn't easy, and it's not going to happen overnight. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you feel like giving up. But here's the thing. Every time you resist the urge, every time you choose something better, you're strengthening your willpower. You're proving to yourself that you're stronger than your addiction. And that's huge. Finally, let's talk about accountability. You can't do this alone. Find someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or even a therapist, and tell them what you're going through. It's scary, I know, but it's also incredibly freeing. When you bring your struggles into the light, they lose their power over you. And who knows, That person might just become your biggest cheerleader. Going to be hard, but it's also going to be worth it. Because on the other side of this addiction is a version of you that's freer, happier, and more in control than you've ever been. And that's a version of you worth fighting for. So what do you say? Are you ready to take back your life? If you're nodding along right now, then let's do this together. Because you're not just some random viewer. You're my bestie. And besties don't let besties stay stuck in the same old cycles. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get to work. You've got this, and I've got you.